Awesome. All right. Well, I am so excited that you guys are here today. For those of you that are just joining us and coming in, this is Stephanie and Cosimo, and they are the best brain training instructors I think in all of Denver, all of Colorado, all in the United States. And I met these two. Well, I met Stephanie through a local networking group that we're a part of, and everyone in the room just tells me how much they love her, how much they appreciate her, and how much of a difference she's been making in the community, at schools, and with some of the professionals. Our number one income earner in the group, as far as I know, he's taken, Stephanie's course, which is Genius in 21 Days. And his income I'm sure it's gone up 80%. Like, it's been incredible. Like, he's rocking and rolling, and has nothing but amazing things to say about you, Stephanie. And then we have Cosimo, who I've had the pleasure of attending one of your online courses, which was on time management. And I have my principles right up next to my desk with my goals, and I read them every day, and it has helped tremendously. Like, it was incredible, just the few hours that I spent with you, and your passion for learning and helping people understand how do we get better at learning, and for professionals, but also for children. For us, I'm a single mom. I homeschooled my son the last 3-4 months, and I think we're going back into homeschooling once the school year starts again, depending on what's going to happen with the restrictions and kids going back to school. And with kids going back to school here and homeschooling, us parents are wondering, how do I have more patience for my child? How am I going to make this easier? And I understand that, Cosimo, you also did a TED Talk on how to help your brain work better. I don't know exactly. I need to watch the TED Talk. This is terrible. I'm like, oh, he's done an amazing TED Talk. But I'm also authentic. I'm like, I want to watch it. That's been on my bucket list.
Yeah, I will send it to you. No problem. It was like how to learn faster and make the impossible possible.
How to learn faster and make the impossible possible. Oh my gosh, that's an amazing title. We should write a book.
Yeah. Actually, they made a mistake. They didn't put their title. They put like "Find Your Way." I don't know where did they take it, but anyway, find your way.
Well, yeah. Send me the link, and then what I'll do is I'll post it in the comments here on this video, on Facebook and on YouTube and on iTunes and Spotify. We'll make sure to get the link up there so people can watch you in action. And before I let you guys steal the show, I'm so excited. I want everyone to know that's tuning in to know that you guys moved here from Italy, and you started a company, and you've made it happen. And I just think that's incredible. My mom moved to the United States from England with nothing. And we lived in an apartment. She worked a ton of jobs. At one point, she had to steal diapers for me and like distract the clerk from looking underneath the grocery cart because we were so poor. And she's wildly successful now, and she's one of the happiest people that I know. So just my heart is connected with yours, because I know how much work it takes to move. Well, not personally, but kind of personally. I'm seeing my mom come from another country and make it happen. And I understand you guys learned English in like what, a few weeks, less than a month? But tell me more. So let's talk about all of this. First, who are you guys? How did you learn English? Why did you start a business in the United States? Why are you guys the best brain trainers, instructors in Denver? Tell me more.
Okay. She actually came before I came here in the United States. So I came here 1 year and 8.5 months or 9 months ago. I need to do the math anyway. So, but it's less than 2 years. So when a company asked me, Cosimo, do you want to open a Denver location? I said, certamente, è un'opportunità. I did not speak English 1 year and 9 months ago. And I was really scared to say yes, because I'm dyslexic. I never learned English at school. Sometimes kids don't want to learn a lot, most of the times not because they don't want to learn, but because it's so boring the way they teach it and the way they do it. And I'm not against to the teachers, but I had like not very good teachers at my school. So I can talk about them, not about other teachers. And what happens is I was not really sure to say yes, because I was really scared as far as like doing this job in a language that I was not confident in doing it. Well, I understand people's learning blocks, and I have them understand why they are stuck in learning and why they cannot achieve results because of that. So if I needed to come here and speak English in a conversation, would have been okay. But teaching, have them unblock themselves, it's a totally different English. So, like those people who gives up flyers in front of the college. I never stopped, but the day there was a pretty blonde girl, and I stopped just for that. So she was promoting this course, and I got in this course. So then I decided to come here, and the decision was made and based on the fact that what was different before, like years ago and now, is the fact that I know a method and I can trust myself because I have a method. I create the confidence that everything I want to learn, I can learn it. So when I came here, I learned 6,000 words in 2 weeks, plus the grammar rules. And I was holding the course after 5 weeks I was here. And if you had told me this before I took this course, before I took the Genius course, I would have told you, you are crazy. You are totally crazy. I'm dyslexic. I had always challenges in learning, and now you are telling me that I can do that. It was not possible. But then I understood that my brain just needed to work in a different way. At least understand how my brain works. And after you know that, you can achieve these amazing results. So we decided to move here so I could keep doing my job in Italy. But then we decided to move here, and she was, let's say, the responsible to do that. But I mean,
we were in Florida.
Yeah,
I was in Florida, and I moved to Florida 5 years ago to open this business that's an Italian business in the United States. But Florida was meant to be a temporary location. So when he joined us, that's when we moved here to Denver almost 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're from, and Stephanie, why did you move to the United States?
So I moved here because when the company decided to open a location in the US. And so I was with the initial group who opened a location here. Long story short, immigration is challenging. So I was left by myself in Florida for like a year and a half. And then he came. So that's when we decided to move from Florida to Colorado. And we like it a lot better. Florida is great for vacation, but we love Colorado.
Yeah. And what brought you guys to Colorado?
So there were a few cities that we could have worked in. But we decided among those cities, we picked Denver because that was the one we liked best. Also as far as lifestyle and to live here and to raise a family here.
Yes. And also because there are all the targets that we want to work with. So there are professionals and students from school or homeschooling. So we love working with everyone just because learning is something that no one teach you how to do it, just what to study. And when you realize that you are not enough faster, or you have anxiety every time you need to learn, or you do feel confident to like explain what you learned and everything you need to know, you should have known. So I think people love taking this course for this reason, because they know how their brain works and they can get extraordinary results.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's talk about that. Studies show that about 65% of high school graduates go on to college. And why do you guys think that number is decreasing?
Okay, now let's talk about, it's very, very interesting, this question. I would start saying that most of the times for students, they don't see achievable some goals that they want to achieve. I want to tell you a story of one of the mentees that I had in Italy, in this case, and to explain you this. I'm an international speaker, so in Italy I was speaking also in like colleges and in high schools. Like in the I was speaking with the seniors, so to the seniors in the high school, and like the last year of high school, it's seniors, correct? Perfect. Yeah. So I was speaking to them, and one of my speech was like, "What do you want to do after school?" And raise your hand if you know what you want to do. Raise your hand if you will do exactly what you want. And out of all those people, there were just two people that raised their hands. One of those were a guy that was there, and I had like more time to talk with. And he told me after the event, Cosimo, the question that you asked me in the beginning was really interesting. And I said, why? What question? What I wanted to do, like that I really want. Actually, I want to be a heart surgeon, like who does surgeries on heart. And he told me, well, but I didn't want to raise my hand because if I look at my GPAs, I have a 2.1, and I don't see achievable for me to study that. So to get into the university and study that for that, because studying medicine would be for me very, very hard. This is my results. And in that moment, something pop up in my mind, and I said, basically, that guy was choosing what to do in his life, not based on what he really wanted to do, but based on what he felt was possible for him to do. And what's possible for you to do? You base that answer on the abilities that you think you have. But if you don't have a method, what kind of abilities can you have? If you don't feel that you have tools, what kind of abilities you feel you have? You feel that you don't have abilities. You feel that you can't learn. You feel that you can't retain things. You base, in that case, your confidence on the fact that you have a GPA. But it's not the GPA that makes your confidence. Is how you get results makes your confidence. So what I mean is, basically, his lack of confidence was related of a lack of method. And based on that lack of method and so lack of confidence, he was choosing not to go to college just because he thought, I would never be able to study and become an heart surgeon. So I told him, okay, so long story short, come to the course. I wanna really have you at the course. He came to the course. He was the seventh person out of 6,000 applying to the university, getting to university. And now is like he's finished. He's practicing now as a doctor of heart surgeon. And every time we talk together, he tells me, that day, thanks God you were in my school, because otherwise I don't know what I would have done now. Probably I would have done like a job that I don't like. But since I want to raise my family, I need to do it. And I'm forced to be there because I don't feel I can expand my abilities, my expertise so fast to be enough competitive. And now he feels like really, really confident that he can achieve anything he wants.
Yeah.
And this is one of the story of many kids in the school. Because what happens is when a kid or when a student realizes, oh, I want to study that, I want to become that, but there is too much work that I need to do. And I don't need to learn so many things. The first question they ask is, am I able to create the knowledge that will allow me to succeed? If the question is no, that pain is higher than telling you, I don't know. And the most of the times they tell you, if you ask to a kid, what do you want to do when, like a teenager in this case, they will answer, I don't know. I don't know. You know it, but thinking that you can't, it's really like, I don't want to think about that. I just want to focus on the fact that I will do whatever it happens in my life.
Mm.
And so that's why I think most of the times people don't want to go to college. Then there is another story in America. College is very expensive. I don't want to talk about that, but for sure, if you know that, I can give you an example that you can understand it even better. If a student knows that he can do 3 jobs, retaining anything he's studying forever without going over and over, he thinks, okay, I can work and go to college. But if you think, I need to just focus on college because I don't have enough time to study and work, you don't see achievable to go to college. So that was my story. When I took this course, I was studying engineering and I didn't have enough time to study and work. So at some point, I had some finances problems, so I needed to leave my college. I needed in that moment to leave my college, but I didn't leave. Why? Because I took this course. And thanks to this course, I took 3 jobs. Actually, 3.5. Okay, let's say that. I was working so hard and I was studying at the same time. And how I was studying, I using the techniques, you can retain anything without going back. I studied 10 exams in 3 months. I didn't need to worry about those exams. When there was the exam, I was giving the exam, I was taking the exam, and it was great.
Yeah.
Changes for you. It's not like the subject. It changes the way you go through your process and your method, your confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. Stephanie, what about you? What's your take on why are children not wanting to go to college after they graduate, or maybe why are even also to hear your side on this too, if you guys would agree with this, that, now that kids are home, they don't have peer pressure, right? So that's cool, but they have parent pressure, which is like just as bad, because we're like, okay, just get it together. Like, can't you just figure it out? Like, I know when I was homeschooling my son, this last bit of the school year, there were times that were just, I was frustrated because I felt inadequate, and it was me like almost projecting on him, like, hey, I don't know how to do your math. And if you can't figure it out, I don't know what to tell you. Like, then just don't do it. Like, it was hard. It was really, really hard. And knowing that we might be going back into that is kind of scary. You're like, okay, gosh, a whole nother level. And I already struggled enough with helping my kid at this age. So there's a couple of things I'm trying to ask here. So first and foremost, how old, like what's the lowest age a child can be to take your course?
So that is an easy question. 7 years old.
7 years old. Okay.
Yeah, I have had like a 5-year-old, but we don't usually suggest a 5-year-old to come and take it. But as long as you can read and write, you can use the techniques. And at 7 years old, there's not a lot they have to study, but they're starting to like learn and have to read and have to retain some information, have to learn information. So elementary school, 7 and up.
Elementary school, 7 and up. Okay, that's like 7 up. So
yeah. Easy to remember.
Super easy to remember. And as an example, like here in Douglas County, teen mental health and teen suicide is huge. And there's so many different factors that play into mental health. So we won't go too far into that, but I know that confidence has to do with self-worth, right? And not feeling good enough or getting frustrated and all that stuff. So like what you guys are doing is also helping combat the issue we have going on here in Douglas County where I live, but also in Colorado, and helping kids feel better about who they are and be able to increase their chances of making it through the terrible teenage years that can be terrible. But I think what you guys are doing could make it better. So when we're looking at how you guys are helping kids develop that, let's just, and again, Stephanie, I'd love to hear your side of this, because you and I have spent a lot of time talking, and I love the way that you explain just how children and how people, and you mentioned this, Cosimo, around it's their learning style. It's not so much what they're learning. You're saying that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what someone's learning. It's how they absorb the information. So what if they have a terrible parent I shouldn't say it. Every parent's I think they're doing the best they can, but
yes.
Tell us some more about this. Tell us some more about what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. So starting from the fact that everyone learns in a different way. So everyone has their own learning style. The technical term is cognitive style, but just to make it easy to understand, everyone has a different method, different way to learn, and a different way to retain information. And what our goal is to understand, to learn how we learn, know how our brain likes to learn and how our brain likes to retain information. So there are two things that I want to mention about that. First of all, like what you were saying, and what Cosimo was mentioning, that once you learn your own method, when you feel unstoppable, you can do whatever you want, you can achieve whatever goal you have, and you choose what to do. It could be a job, or it could also be high school or college, whatever, but you choose it based on what you love and not based on what you think you're capable of doing. So our goal, like you were saying, is not to teach you math, is not to teach you a language, is not, we are not tutors. What we do is we teach you how to learn math, how to learn a language. So we teach you how your brain likes to learn. Once you have a method, you can learn whatever you want, and in as much time as you want, as quick as you want, and have all the results that you want. So that's one thing, that's what our goal is, and that gives kids, people in general, and of course kids, of course teenagers, that confidence that that doesn't bring to situations that we don't want in school or in their teenage teenage years. That for sure gives them a lot of confidence.
Yes.
And that's where everything starts. So like Cosimo was saying, lack of method is lack of confidence is lack of method, vice versa too. So lack of method, when we don't know how to learn, we're not seeing results, that brings to unproductive beliefs and to lack of confidence in ourselves. And even if teachers or parents, not with a bad intention, but when they say, well, it's okay, you're not good at math, but you'll be good at English, or sentences like that, then that sometimes that build, if we hear them more than once, especially, that builds a belief in the kids, in the teenagers, that makes them feel
Blocked.
Blocked and not confident, and with all the unproductive thoughts that they have in their minds.
Yeah.
So, and they can create blocks. Learning blocks is really actions you take without seeing the results that you want. So that's what creates a learning block.
Yes.
And that's created in our school years, but that's something that can affect us as professionals too, because like Cosimo was saying, no one ever taught us how to study, how to learn. And we develop our strengths, we develop our blocks. So in our professions, in our business, we still are with those strengths and with those blocks. And the second thing that I wanted to mention, that you said, that you mentioned, is that for teachers and for parents now, it's necessary to understand how our kids learn. That way, so we don't know the math that they're teaching us, that they're teaching them anymore, and that there's not much we can do there. Unless we want to learn it, of course.
we go with that.
Yeah, but that's how it is. So it's even more key to understand how they learn. And we've had lots of people who homeschooled even before the situation, and kids who were homeschooled, and it was key for them to take the course with the parents with the kids, because the parents learned how their kids learned. So they knew the best way to homeschool their kids. And again, they know what the teacher, how to do math, but we as parents need, and as teachers, we need to teach them, we need to guide them in how they need to learn, how much time they want to invest in allowing them to have the best results.
Absolutely. Well, and go ahead.
I want to add something else that you brought out before. So when we're talking about anxiety, frustration of the kids, and also in professionals, it's like for everyone. So we need to start with the fact that we all love learning. Everyone loves learning, craves learning. What we don't like is the process we need to go through. Okay, so even if someone says, no, I don't like actually go to school, I don't like learning, you know, those people that they don't want to learn anything, it's impossible. If I ask them, would you like to speak Spanish? Oh yes, I want to speak Spanish, but you need to study. Oh no, I need to study. So basically, what actually means that? First, I don't believe in lazy people. I believe in people that don't have a method, they don't have a way to do it. Example that I always give to my students. If I ask you, can you change a tire with your hands? Okay, flat tire with your hands. Would you do it? Oh no, it seems with my hands, with no tools, it seems impossible forever. So it doesn't mean that you're dumb. It seems that it doesn't mean that it's hard. It's hard. So it doesn't mean that you cannot do it, or it's hard to do it. It means that you don't have tools. That's why it makes that impossible for you to do it. And then you will go slow in your life. So that's why if you want to learn something with your flat tire, okay, basically you will learn it after years. What I mean is, if you have tools, you create the confidence that creates the motivation that you want to always do something. If I ask to you, do you want to learn Spanish in 2 weeks? The first question that you have in your brain is it possible? Yeah, if it is possible, it's possible. I learned English in 2 weeks. So if it is possible, would you do it? Yes. It doesn't change Spanish. It doesn't change math. It doesn't change history. It doesn't change. What changes is the tool that you're going through first. Second, when we put a lot of effort with no tools, means that you are like taking off the screw from the tires with your hands, and you see that they don't move with your hands. You become frustrated. You become anxious because you will be late. You become all those things. But why did that happen? Because you didn't have tools again. So what I mean is, when you don't have tools, frustration, anxiety, and all of those negative emotions are very, very common in people. And they think that there is something wrong within themselves, with their brain. But it's not true. The truth is they didn't have a tool. And I want to just finish by saying that when you have anxiety, means that your confidence is going down. So if your confidence goes down, also your focus goes down. If your focus goes down, your comprehension, your understanding goes down. If your comprehension goes down, what happens? You don't retain. Mm-hmm. So in that moment you feel, I cannot retain. You cannot retain because what created the anxiety was a lack of confidence. Because anxiety is a lack of confidence.
Yeah.
And lack of confidence is related to a lack of method. So you're not retaining, not because you have something wrong within your brain or you don't work very well, but because you don't have a method. You don't know how to change the flat tire. You don't have a method. You don't have a tool to do it. So would you still blame yourself for that? Or would you think, now I need to find my tools? Because it's your choice.
Yeah. It is, right? And that's such a good analogy with the tire, changing a tire with your hand. Yeah, super frustrating. Like, it seems impossible, right? Just like learning a language in 2 weeks. You're like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
And so then we shut down, we doubt ourselves, and we say no to ourselves, not to the opportunity. Like, we're already telling ourselves no. You know what I mean? And so of course you're just absolutely right. And it's just amazing to hear both of your perspectives on that and the different tools that someone can use in order to achieve that. And one of the testimonies that I have from you guys was from a guy who was an 8-year-old when, and he shares, he was 8 years old when an assignment to memorize a poem for English class had me begging my mother to let me skip school the next day. And I spent the whole afternoon reading and repeating, but not remembering or learning. And the experience made me hate studying. And for years, I believed I wasn't smart and couldn't learn. And now, teaching Genius in 21 Days, because they approached how he learned and wants everyone to feel as confident as he do. So is that your story, Cosimo? Is that someone else's story?
I think it's someone else's story.
Someone else's story? Okay.
But it's okay. As long as it's a good story, it's okay.
Yeah, it's a good story, so it's fine. And so things to look for parents that are listening to this. Things that you can look for with your children is if they're having a hard time keeping up with the classes that they're enrolled in right now or will be enrolled in the school year, or if you're a college student and you're looking to really kick kick college into high gear and not be as stressed out. If you're having a hard time keeping up with classes, or adults as well, and this isn't just for school, this is for professionals, business owners. I'm like you guys, and I know a lot of friends, we're personal development junkies. Like, we love learning, like, how do I become better? How can I become faster? How can I make more money? How can I serve more people and not take away from the time I'm spending with my family? And so it applies to all that, just, having a hard time keeping up with things, but especially with students, they see school and college as a chore, and that can often cause trauma, which, these are the symptoms to look out for. So feeling that studying is taking away the best years of their life, being dissatisfied with their grades, feeling down on themselves, or experiencing a stomach or headache, a stomach ache or a headache before each test or exam. So these are things that, you can look out for in your child. And with Genius in 21 Days, you guys have it to where if your child's 10 years old or younger, that the mom or a parent and a child can actually take your course together, and the child's included in the tuition. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It depends, of course, the age and what they need to learn, but yes.
Yay, there's a baby.
Yes. Oh.
Hello. You guys are brand new parents, by the way.
Yes. 1 month.
1 month. Wow, it's going by fast, huh?
She's gonna take.
Oh, look at her. She's all cute.
Yeah, I want to speak too.
She's like, hey, I'm ready to hop on the show. Let me get in on this goodness. She's adorable. I won't keep you guys for too much longer. Just if we could, some of the things that you guys talk about are these tools, right? So you guys have how to memorize things, time management techniques, comprehension strategies, effective presentations. So for our aspiring speakers, now's a great time to work on your craft, because speakers are pivoting and going online. So in-person speaking, it's not a thing of the past, and it will come back, but we're just kind of paused right now. So even for speakers, your guys' course is incredible because you can help people with effective presentations and mind mapping. So what would be your top 3 tips for someone who's like, man, I really wish I was less stressed out, that I could learn things faster. I learned, something new, a new opportunity arises in my life, and sometimes I just say no, or it's really frustrating for me to learn. What would be some top tips you'd have for them to implement right now, today, that they can start making life easier for themselves?
Very good. Okay. So,
and by the way, even if we're not speaking live, but we have to speak online. But lots of people are still speaking in front of groups of people.
Yeah.
Having to prepare presentations.
Yeah. We add that part in the course. So like how to be effective online, that you have people retain what you're saying. So it's really, really cool. So we use that a lot with our events, and it's working very well. And other people use that too. Okay. So tips. Actually, I don't want people feel overwhelmed. I want to give you just 2 things.
2 things. Okay.
The first thing is, because just the first one, it's very, very long. Okay. Now, the question I ask people is, how do you study? So what are the steps that you do? Usually, if you're a student between like middle and high school, what you do is this. You read or listen and repeat. So that's what you do. You listen and repeat. You listen. Probably if you're very, very like picky, you would take notes, but usually they don't take notes. So they listen, and then they have like the assignment from the teacher, and they start repeating. Then they would take the test. What happens is this kind of method works, I think, actually well when you are at high school. So not to take probably A's. Okay, or for a few people that you notice it's possible to take A's, but if you have to those people, they do probably something more than just reading and repeat. But when you go to college, this is not something that will work. Why? In high school, you would take the test after 2 weeks at the most. In college, you would take the exam if you're fortunate after 3 months or after 6 months. So, and the amount of information that you have in high school, it's less than what you will have at college. So this difference of studying in college and high school becomes really stressful for the freshmen and for people that gone through the college. Okay. Now, I just want to now tell you what a method looks like. Okay. A method needs to go through 6 steps. The first one is called approach. Then you need to read. Then you need to understand, organize, retain, and be able to explain. I cannot draw now. If you could draw, you would see like A, that stands for approach. But I will repeat them all for everyone. Approach. The approach answer the question, what do you do before you start studying? To prepare your brain. To prepare your brain and receive the information. What do you do? Most of the times, if you can answer this question, what do you do, Alex?
What do I do to prepare for information that I'm about to take in?
Yeah. What do you do?
Well, what I do is I use essential oils. I use a focus blend to help. It's like an in tune, kind of like to help with focus, and maybe like some like a combination of oils just for calming. I'll do some deep breathing. I'm not kidding. This is what I do. I spent 2 hours studying this morning, like, because for me to really focus, it takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to get in the zone. And then I can stay in the zone for like 20, maybe 25 minutes. And then I realize my brain starts trailing off. And then I'm like, just focus. So I like have to do like this whole thing to calm my brain down and do like deep breathing before I start doing something. It's insane. It's especially reading and retaining information. Like,
and this is a common answer. So like yours, it's not a common answer because you use essential oils. People sometimes say, I take a cup of coffee. So they start saying, I don't know, I stretch, whatever. Now, the thing is, to understand my question, is I can give you an analogy so you can understand. When you go to the gym and you need to prepare your body, receive the workout, what do you need to do?
Stretch,
warm up, all those things.
Yeah.
Essential oils, in this case, will warm up your body. Yes or no? Yes?
Yeah. My mind, okay, no, it doesn't.
No, okay. So that's exactly the same thing. Essential oil can actually help you to get better, okay, in the state of, but doesn't create the state of concentration in this case. Make sense?
Yes.
So now the same the cup of coffee. So when you prepare the bag for the workout, the bag doesn't warm up your body unless it's heavy and you are going to the gym with a heavy bag. Right. But anyway, the thing is, no one has an answer. No one can answer like, yes, to warm up my brain and receive the information, I do that.
Right. I see what you're saying.
What happens is when you don't prepare your brain, receive your information, when you say 10, 15 minutes, it's exactly what your brain needs to actually get into the concentration state. But actually for other people, it's more. For other people, it's even more than that. And for other people, it's less. It really depends. What's the answer in this case? The answer is you need to find your way. You need to find what works for your brain. And there are different techniques to do a best approach, but there is one truth. If you don't have an approach, you will lose up to 70% of the piece of information you're going to study. And that's why people needs to go over at least 2 times on the same thing that they are reading. And this is just the first step. Then you have the reading. The reading part, it needs to be done with strategies. Most of the times people open the book and start studying. It's not the way to prepare your brain. You're just throwing information, like throwing stuff in a room without cabinets. What can you find after you finish to throw things in that room? Everything, but it's hard to find something that you need first.
Yeah.
And then the understanding. Most of the times people are focused in retaining when they are studying, not in understanding. Notice this. At school, every time someone achieves a good result, they say, hey, because he knows everything. Knows means remembers everything. It doesn't necessarily mean that you understood everything. So many people think that confuse that reading is retaining. That's why most of the times they underline, they go ahead, think, oh, I want to remember this. Then they need to go back because they left some holes they are not connecting. And they notice what they are not connecting because they didn't underline other things. So they're underlining the whole page at the end.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good. Now, that's why strategies to understand are very, very important. Then there is the organization. In the organization, the best efficient way to organize your ideas, it's called the mind maps. You can read thousands of books about mind maps. The only problem with the books is that they will never customize them on your brain. So you don't know how your brain needs to draw mind maps. And then there is the retention. So the retention needs to be done with the memory techniques, not just repeating over and over. Repeating over and over, it's not an efficient way to remember long term. And also because if you notice that you remember 3% after 6 months, that you are not repeating that information anymore. Let's say you learned today 100 words of Spanish. In 6 months, you will know 3 words out of 100.
Yeah. Wow.
So, and then explaining. You need to be able to explain that in an effective way. Now, out of all those things, I cannot give you tips for each 6 steps, but I can give you the first tip is you need to care about all the 6 steps because all of them are necessary for you to learn faster. The second tip I want to give you is on the approach. How can we have a very good approach? I want to give you a tip on that. Basically, people needs to use what it's called a brain cycle attention. Yes.
Yes.
You're right. So a brain
I like this one. She's like, yes, attention, give it to me.
So the brain cycle attention, there are people that says I can keep my attention for 50 minutes, 15. Sometimes I don't keep my attention. What's the truth? The truth is that no one has the same cycle of attention. So you need to find the perfect for you. Now, I want to give you 2 cycles of attention that are very, very important, and you can see where you best fit in. The first one, it's called 25-5-5, and the second one, it's called 45-10-5. 25-5-5 stands 25 study or working, 5 minutes break, 5 minutes review. So 25 is like, okay, I'm focusing on what I need to do. Then you break. In those 5 minutes, it's important how you break. No lay on the couch, don't use the phone, don't decrease your energy for the next cycle that you are going to do. Otherwise, your brain will not be focused. So that's why you need to detach totally from the environment. Go outside, walk, work out, drink water, do whatever that raises your energy. Then there are the 5 minutes review. Since your brain detached from what you were studying, you want your brain get back on what you were doing. So you need to review what you were studying, like very quickly in 5 minutes, and then start studying again. You will notice that you will have a retention that you never had before if you do this way. And you will have a higher energy that you never had before for sure. I studied 6,000 words in 2 weeks, and my 1 day of that means that I was studying at least 8 hours. Okay, so, and I needed to do that very efficiently. So that's why I use these brain cycles. Then the other one, if you say 25 minutes, I can handle a 25 minutes studying, but it's too small for me, short for me. Okay, you probably fit in the 45-10-5, 45 study, 10 break, and 5 review. So you will notice that reviewing the information that you did will create a connection better to the next piece of information because they are using one principle. We create knowledge if we link together 2 pieces of information.
Yeah.
Okay. So if there is no connections, if we don't understand, we cannot retain. So the review is really, it's like really important. And you will see how confident you can feel after you're reading. You say, wow, I'm understanding more. So repeat the cycles till you finish to study. In this case, if you need to study for 3 hours, will be 45-10-5, 1 hour, 45-10-5, 45-10-5.
Yeah.
Then break, and live your life.
But yes, this is huge. I mean, I was saying that I came here with the group to open a location in the US. And for the first 2 months, all we were doing was translating and studying. And following these cycles, this is how we were able to keep the same level of energy and concentration from like 8 a.m. in the morning till 8 p.m. at night.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of work, and that's what people are doing right now with just people are working 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. where they're at their job and then they come home and then they want to study because they're in a college course or they're learning something new because they're starting a side business. Like it's just learning, right? And what a cool way to just that one takeaway, right? Because Cosimo, you talk about these 6 steps, right? And one of those steps is the approach and the brain cycle attention, right? So going in 25 minutes or 45 minutes, you pick your time. I'd have to do 45 minutes. I mean, if my brain doesn't need, well, maybe this all can change. My awareness is that it takes me 10, 15 minutes to get in the zone. So then 45 minutes, and then you're like taking that 5 or 10 minute break, depending on the cycle that someone chooses to go on, but not just to sit on the couch, not to check your phone, like drink water, eat healthy, get up, go for a walk, go outside, play with your pets, play with your kid, like whatever it is to keep, like you said, keep your energy up. And then the main part, something that I've never heard anybody talk about, is going back and doing the 5 minutes of review what you just learned. Like that's genius.
Yeah. But I think I can tell you, when they told me this, I said I knew that I needed to review, but I didn't know how. There are small things that make a huge difference that people are not doing, but they probably know they need to do it, but they don't know how.
Yeah, even taking a break, sometimes we're like, yes, I know I should, but I'm late. I need to finish everything.
Wow.
Or I'm late with my goals, or I have a lot to study, a lot to read, whatever. No, the break is necessary.
Yes. Otherwise, you will still studying, but not being productive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huge also for homeschooling, or now, and like not now because schools are not on, but for kids who are studying at school or studying at home, it's huge to keep their concentration high.
Yeah.
And to keep them productive and not bored, and not just sit there for hours without getting anything done.
Yes.
Because then the parents are frustrated and the kids are frustrated.
Yes. This one behind me, we've been there. Yeah.
We had like this family with 9 kids, and they said, out of the whole course, for me, the brain cycles. So the mom was teaching to the kids, said the cycles of taking a break. I never saw my family with that energy. We could do an easy week doing this, and they were learning even more.
Yeah.
So it's a small thing, but if you use it, they will create a huge changing and energy that you never had in studying. And this is it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And so many professionals that I know just praise your guys' program and who you two are as human beings, like from the rooftops. This is a course that Travis and I, my little kiddo back here, he's 10, we're going to be taking before the next school year starts. And we're so excited because why not? Why not, as a parent, what better gift could you give your child? The gift of learning, the gift of how to use their brain, how to go about life feeling competent and confident. My son tells everyone he wants to be a professional gamer. And if that's the case, he's got a lot. I got a lot to learn. He's got a lot to learn on how to do that. Because I don't know how you make a lot of money doing professional video games. But if that's what he wants to do, we're going to go there. Like it's my job to, and I think as parents, yes, to guide our children and to give them the tools they need to succeed in life and let them make those decisions. And because we're not our children's God, they're going to live their own life. They're going to grow up and move on. So while we can, why not give them this gift of being able to be able to do better in life and to learn and make life more enjoyable. So I'm so excited for that. And for people that want to learn more about I think you guys on your website, you promote a free Genius in 21 Days class. As far as maybe it's the online classes you guys are doing right now for your 3-hour classes. Can you guys tell us, before we wrap up, tell us a little bit more how people, what levels of involvement can people have with Genius in 21 Days? What level of involvement could their kids have? Are these online? Are they in person? Tell us more about that.
We're in person.
Yeah, and I love doing that in person. But we come up with a very good structure of the course online. I had a kid of 8 years old stuck to a screen for 27 hours, and he didn't want to leave the meeting on Zoom. So it was like awesome feedback from a kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, to tell you now that what we are going to do, it's something that probably I didn't announce yet, but I can announce here. So we are doing free courses, means like 3 hours session with us of like you took the first one, it was time management. Yes. And how to destroy procrastination forever. The next one will be on learning blocks. Understand what the learning blocks are and understand how to destroy these learning blocks, actually change and transform the learning blocks in strengths in your life. So I'm going to do that in June 17th, and I do that every month. So even if they are watching this video later on, they can contact us and see and sign up for free to these free courses where they will learn unblock strategies and how to recognize their brain, how their brain works. Okay.
And if anybody's interested in knowing detailed information about the course, of course we hold we can go one-to-one on Zoom now. Yeah. We used to hold the group live presentations, introductions. Now we still do, but they're online. And yeah, so these are, if someone wants to learn something first, try something out, then the webinars that Cosimo was mentioning. Those are the two best ways to learn more about Genius in 21 Days.
Okay. And then you guys are, you also, then the Genius in 21 Days course, it's like the actual, the course we've been talking about, in addition to the webinars, but you have a weekend long course. It's on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Right now it's online. Possibly you guys will be going back in person, hopefully before too long. With that, they have access to come back to the class and get a refresher for up to a year, right?
Yes.
That's very cool. Yeah. What was that?
1 year.
1 year. Yep. Yep. Very, very cool. Well, I appreciate you guys just taking the time to just to share with the community what you're able to offer, especially for a lot of us our new homeschool parents, and how we can make this coming up year better, easier, and more enjoyable. Whether kids go back to school or not, it's going to be different. It's just to be able to have an advantage is going to be so helpful. And again, what a gift we can give to our children and to ourselves as well. So just so exciting for what's coming this year. It's been a year of adversity, but it's making all of us stronger. We're able to pivot and learn how to go after what our goals are, and really be able to achieve all of that. And with your guys' help, I'm sure a lot of us will achieve more. So is there anything else that you guys want to say before we wrap up?
So I just want to say thank you for this opportunity to talk and to have people know about this technique, because if they find themselves like I was in my situation with learning disabilities and I tried everything, but didn't work. So something worked, something not, and I was still struggling. I think they need to find their way. They need to find that there is a method that it can be customized on their brain and they can work forever. And they will release them and us from many struggles that we can have. Because it's not a matter of you, it's a matter of a method that you don't have and you need to find. So thank you for letting us share this. And I know that we can really make a huge difference for people. That's actually my dream, like this course did for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Alex, for this opportunity and for helping us spread the word.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. My pleasure. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast, and then we'll chat in just a second, okay?
Yes, awesome. Thank you.